Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS-Inform. We're spending the week at the Dubois County 4-H Fairgrounds because it's Fair Week. Now this is Wednesday night, and I want you to know that really Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there is something going on that you will enjoy here at the Dubois County 4-H Fair. The easiest thing to do is go online, go to the Extension website, and you will find the complete list of everything that's going on. For instance, the beef show is tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. You may not have known that. Come on out and enjoy that. Well, and I mentioned the word extension because the 4-H Fair is one of the many different things that the Dubois County Extension Office does for Purdue Extension. And joining me is Kenny Eck. Kenny is the Agriculture and Natural Resources Educator.
That's right.
And you're like Jan Dugan. I can never remember what her title is.
That's right.
You guys, basically, it's because you do so much. You guys really do a lot out of the Extension
we each
office.
have our areas. And again, the third person of our group is Jenny Monarch, who works with the 4-H Fair programs and the extension programs we have for kids around the county.
And it's a wonderful program. So when you come out to the fair, you think of the kids and you think of the youth development area. But we want to talk a little bit about some of the work that you do with the Ag and Natural Resources. You hold workshops throughout the year.
That's right. Where we're standing at right now is where we have a lot of the workshops that farmers go through. A lot of people have the Norman Rockwell picture in their mind of a farmer with a straw hat and a piece of straw out of his mouth and a little red tractor putting around a field or something like that. And that's really not, we have antique shows once in a while like that, but really most farmers are high-tech. They have high-tech gear. It's really hard for anybody, extension industry, to keep up with them because of the amount of change that goes on sometimes with some of these farms out there. We've got everything out there from robotic milkers, where the cows come in and they decide when they want to be milked. So they go through, get milked. They get to eat a little bit of something. They're excited about it. They go back out in the pasture field. So that's what the animal industry has. We also have, again, for the farmers that have row crops, as you have high-tech computers, sensors, everything that a farmer can go through from his home, actually, and months later find out what's been done out there in the field and say, okay, here's why this weed didn't come up here, or here's why this corn yield was bad in this one spot. And there's people with drones, as we talked about before the show here, that go out and help them see what's out there. Sensors, it's just incredible. It's very high-tech, and it matches what the industry has in the rest of our county outside of agriculture.
And you can find some of those tidbits of information by coming to the 4-H Fair and even just going through the exhibits that the kids are doing now. You can see that they've advanced with the technology as well, the projects as well. Still, a cow is a cow. That's right. And a swine is swine, but there is different ways now that they're raising them, and kids may not realize some of the things that were done years ago that got us to where we are today.
That's right. The livestock, even livestock, I wanted to say that it looked fairly similar, but actually don't. What you had years ago for maybe, if you're interested in pork, one time we wanted to have a very large animal. Now it's very lean because that's what the consumer wants.
Right, okay.
You want to have a lean diet. You want to have lean pork chops and lean sausages and things like that. So what we called lard hogs, they were very fat, but we used the lard for cooking with at one time. Not quite so much now. They're no longer at the fair. As a matter of fact, if you brought one, you'd probably have a challenge getting into the show ring and actually getting a good ribbon with it. And then, like you mentioned, some of the other things out here, there's a lot of machinery in our machinery field. It is some of the high-tech stuff we're talking about. There's everything from, again, some of the computers that farmers use here to, I noticed there's some solar panels that are out there showing where farmers were trying to work with programs where they're generating their own power. If you think about a turkey house or a hog building where the animals are kept in winter so they're nice and warm, those long roofs are perfect for putting solar panels out there to help provide stuff for the shop, for the animals, and for the home in a lot of cases. So it's very much a lot of high-tech stuff coming in that it just kind of showcase some things we have in the community for the ag person as well as the non-ag person to see what farmers are doing out here.
And it's here if you look for it, or just ask. And really asking the kids that have the projects out here, you're going to be amazed at what you're going to learn from those kids.
Yes. No one kid will know everything out here, but if you hit the right kid with the right animal behind them or the right project, because it's not all about animals.
Right.
100 years ago when Extension first started and some of the 4-H programs started, it was very much corn and sowing. Those were the kind of clubs we had. And the boys would be in one and the girls would be in the other. You can guess which is which.
Right.
Nowadays we don't have that. We have everybody mixed together because boys and girls both like to sew and they both like to have corn and thousands of other things that are out here that they can come out and experience. And it's not just rural either. 97 to 98% of the people 100 years ago were in rural settings. Now it's exactly the opposite. We're only maybe up to 2% maybe in this county, or maybe in agricultural settings yet. So a lot of them come from the cities, the towns, places like that. So those projects reflect those new interests. So you've got geocaching out here. You've got some of the stuff with hunting, which a lot of the city kids still enjoy doing on Grandpa's farm out in the country. We've got a lot of other things too, computers, just pretty well anything that might, photography, a lot of things that are not so much farm-based anymore, to give a lot of kids a chance to come out and learn whatever they might be interested in. And there's always more each year. As we find out kids that want to do things, we try to consider those. In some cases, we create them ourselves in the office, or sometimes we find another county that has that program already, and we bring it in, and they have a project that they can work on.
Now, I want to salute the work that Jan Dugan, Kenny Eck, and Jennifer Monarch do. You guys really don't stand out and say, look at us, we do all this work. You guys are they're working out here so long, so hard, hot every day, but you do great work. But you're not the only ones that are doing work. There's a lot of volunteers that are out here doing things. That's
right. If anything, we're kind of like the generals, each in our respective areas. Jan Dugan works very much with the Indiana Extension homemakers groups, and they've got great exhibits down there. It's open class, and we'd encourage people. It's not just for homemakers, which is a club within Extension where they learn a lot about different topics that are related to things you might do around the home, budgeting, health, things like that. There are a lot of projects down there that if you look, there's some photography, other things that it's called open class because anybody in the county that's not in 4-H can come in. So next year, if you want to come in and bring your own project because you have grandma's peaches recipe or a cake recipe, or there's some neat metalworking some folks worked with for this year, you can bring in whatever you want to bring in, and there's usually a class for it, and they're also listed at the website, so when you sign up for them earlier in the year, that you can bring in and pretty well do whatever craft you might want to do. Bring it in, check it out, and see how you can do against your neighbor, or better yet, bring your neighbor with you and have a knockdown, drag-out, and a little competition going. Right. But again, we each work with our own groups. I work with some of the livestock folks here. And of course, Jenny Monarch, she works quite a bit with all the volunteer leaders. There's a 4-H council that runs the fair. We run the education programs, which the fair is really just the one event where we actually celebrate what the kids have done all year long. My wife and I are also volunteer leaders, in addition to be extension staff, which is what I am. And so we have our little group that we go in and we do projects each month. We have kids give demonstrations for us that are in public speaking skills and life skills they need to take with them into job interviews. A lot of the forms the kids have to fill out for their projects are things that have been set up so the kids have to, they're reporting on how much it costs to raise their cat or to do the needlepoint thing or the leathercraft project. But what they don't understand is they're also learning how to communicate on maybe their job skills later on in life so they can get that job or get that volunteer position or whatever else they're trying to communicate to some other person they might be working with.
Exactly. Now, we also want to point out, we are in front of the Dubois County 4-H Donor Wall of Fame.
That's right.
And without the support of the community, the fair doesn't happen as well as it does.
That's right. It's like any other group out here without somebody being behind us, not just for the volunteers, but also for some of the economic donors we have here. We simply couldn't provide the materials that kids use all year round. So the money we raise out here at the fair from the carnivals, from some of the rent with some of the great hamburger stands, from the Optimists and the Forest Park Band and the Ireland groups and things like that, that goes into a pot that helps us buy and pay for trips. The kids might go on to learn more things. There's electric trips. So if you're interested in that, you can go on a trip to Purdue to learn more about computers and robots and things in that option. There's livestock trips they take. The donors here have directly given financial support that we, again, use for other things in addition to books and just general supplies we have during the year.
Okay, so, the fair involves the community.
That's right.
And Kenny, we appreciate the work that you do and everybody in the office does for the Extension Service, all the volunteers, the 4-H Council, and the kids that are involved. You need to come out and enjoy things at the Dubois County 4-H Fair. It's at the fairgrounds, right very in the center of the county at Brettsville, Indiana. Thanks to Kenny Eck has been our guest here. I am Bill Potter, thanking you for watching WJTS Inform. We're local people watching local people.